actually is the potential that this could hit parts of Florida as a Category 1. But as of right now, we are still keeping up with all of the information and all of the details on whether or not that is actually possible. So why not bring on an expert, everybody, to tell us what we can expect today, what Floridians can expect, and talking about what we already saw. We saw Tropical Storm Elsa batter the Caribbean. Actually, 3 deaths reported out in the Caribbean, and it did head over Cuba yesterday as well. So I do want to bring on the director for the National Hurricane Center right now. His name is Ken Graham, and he is here to tell us what he knows. I see his radar behind him. Ken, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Regina.
All right, Ken, so I see again you've got your radar behind you. So I guess the big question is right now, what can Floridians anticipate? Where is Tropical Storm Elsa headed right now?
I think it's so much rainfall. You mean, look at this radar. We're really looking at this center right about that location. But look at these rain bands. I mean, it's just very heavy rainfall. All the green areas, just your typical tropical type of rain, but embedded in there are these rain bands where you can see tornadoes and you can see some of this heavy rainfall, just a dangerous situation in these rain bands. And with time, all that area that you see on radar is going to continue to move north, and we think it's going to move north, and by tomorrow morning get really close to the Florida coastline, where we have not just that tropical storm warning, but also that hurricane watch in some of these areas. So rainfall, tornadoes, and I tell you, we got to watch out for that too. On that right front quadrant, 90% of your tornadoes occur in that location. So rainfall, storm surge, and tornadoes, going to be some impacts with Tropical Storm Elsa.
Yeah, Kenneth, I actually do want to play some video that we were playing earlier. This is the conditions in Cuba. You see a lot of wind, a lot of rain, storm surge. So this is what has already happened. In your profession, looking at some of the video that's coming out of the places where Tropical Storm Elsa has already made landfall, what are you thinking?
Yeah, you really go back and look at the structure, going back to even the radar. I mean, that's just an immense amount of tropical rain. So what they saw in Cuba was some of these rain bands, just a staggering amount of rainfall. You get that flooding, but it's not just around the center. It's so important for everybody to really not just focus on that center, because if that's the center, look where the rain is. It's off to the east, the right-hand side of this system. So it's ahead of it, it's alongside of it near the storm, but also that trailing band, and that could happen well away, hundreds of miles away from the center. You can still see some of that heavy rainfall. So as we move forward with time, that's a long time. That's during the day today, tonight, and into tomorrow to have all that rain over the peninsula of Florida, and that's gonna cause some problems.
Yeah, Ken, now when you're talking about that point exactly, we've been in touch and airing some coverage from our Fox 35 Orlando, Fox 13 Tampa teams, and they've been talking about possible tornado warnings. So even though this is a tropical storm, can you talk about how this is also implementing other warnings here in Florida?
Yeah, it sure is, and it's part of it is the rainfall. So you really got to stay tuned for some of the flash flood warnings, and a couple places to really, in particular, and these areas in kind of the orange color here is where you look at the soil conditions, the saturation of the soil, and add the rain. The Tampa area down towards Fort Myers, but not just Florida. Look towards Charleston, back towards north of Jacksonville. Some of those areas are very high risk of getting some of those flash flooding. So we have a moderate risk out from the storm. The Weather Prediction Center, but the Storm Prediction Center looks at tornadoes. This whole area here on that right front quadrant from Tampa, Fort Myers up through Orlando, Melbourne, any one of these areas under a slight risk of getting those tornadoes. So that's something else to watch out for when those tornado warnings come. You got to be ready to take shelter.
Absolutely. And, you know, I actually do want to play some video we have again right here on Live Now from Fox. This is people loading up the trunks of their cars with sandbags. So let's talk preparation, Ken. We still have a couple of hours, I assume, before Tropical Storm Elsa makes rainfall here in Florida. So what can people go out and buy? What should they get as far as preparations?
Yeah, preparing now is everything, because you really look at the timeline of this system, and it needs to be wrapped up before the tropical storm force winds arrive. And the arrival times during already getting into the Florida Keys, but the southern portion, extreme southern Florida there, you get 2 p.m. today, but by 8 o'clock tonight, moving forward overnight tonight, reaching the central portions of Florida. That's the progression of those tropical storm force winds. So the time to prepare is today. You got to get things wrapped up today. So have the extra water, have the extra food, make sure you prepare. And the biggest thing, if there's a loss of power with some of these winds, know how to use those generators and make sure you don't keep those in the house, keep those outside. And if you look at history going back to Hurricane Laura, we lost more people from carbon monoxide poisoning than we had even with the storm surge. So that's something to be aware of. Keep safe, have everything prepared, but use caution along the way.
And Ken, you guys are not only tracking Tropical Storm Elsa, but you guys are actually in it. I really need to show our viewers right now these really cool photos we have of the hurricane hunters. They actually soared into Elsa to get more accurate data. So talk about this sort of mission, Ken. Is this, I mean, obviously, I assume that this is safe, otherwise they wouldn't send them out there. But when they're out there in the eye of the storm, what are they looking for? And do you know what data they came back with?
Yeah, they help us so much. I mean, we got satellite, we have radar, we have so many tools, but to get the hurricane hunters, they're heroes. They go towards the storm so we can get people away from the storm. I mean, that's really what we're trying to do. But they fly right through the center, and they can get the information of the location of the center. They can get the intensity, the wind intensity. But for us, it's not just the center. When they fly their patterns, they actually can help us with the structure of the storm, and that helps us formulate things like the storm surge forecast and our wind radii. That storm surge forecast isn't just the strength of the storm, it's also the size and the structure of the storm. So just heroes. And the NOAA plane, the P3, actually has a tail Doppler radar, so we actually get Doppler images as the planes go into these systems. And that helps us out so much, and you can hear the talk in the background, that you get this data, you contemplate what to do, and that helps us update the forecast.
All right, Ken. Well, is there anything else that Floridians, viewers, or anybody in the path of Tropical Storm Elsa, anything else they need to know before we send you off?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, no such thing as just a tropical storm. And even if it reaches hurricane strength, it's about those impacts. It's the rainfall, it's the tornadoes, and the storm surge. Now's the time to prepare.
All right. Well, Ken Graham, the director of the National Hurricane Center, we really appreciate you joining us here on Live Now to give us this information. You stay safe out there.
Thank you.